Hello and welcome to the MAC weather page for this Thursday, December 28th. And we're going to be turning quite a bit colder as we get in towards the early or maybe the middle part of next week, maybe around Tuesday at the earliest, definitely I think by Wednesday and Thursday. A million-dollar question is going to be is how do we transition from what we're in now to this very, very cold pattern coming up? And it could come with a bang, but right now the models are all over the place. So again, I think we'll wait till Friday before we have a little bit better idea, maybe how we transition to that cold air. For the headlines, just some light snow, especially across southeast lower Michigan here later today as a push of warm air and moisture try to come up towards the northern Ohio Valley into southeast lower Michigan. Could be a trace to as much as an inch there, maybe a few snow showers across south central lower Michigan. But again, this doesn't look like a big system. And then we'll certainly have another chance for some snow showers late Thursday into Thursday night. Again, not a big system. And then we're going to watch maybe from late Saturday or Sunday, we could see some possible accumulations, minor accumulations of some snow, maybe mixed with rain. But again, if we're going to get a big storm, I think it's going to be sometime around that Tuesday period. As the cold air comes through, we may see a low pressure system develop in Texas or Colorado and move up that front into the northern Ohio Valley or the Great Lakes. Again, there's quite a bit of questions on what may happen with that system. If we look at yesterday across the area, we had lots of cloud cover and even a few snow showers. Highest temperature in Breckenridge was 34 degrees, our low was 25, and we had just a trace of precipitation, which was in a form of a few snow showers across the area. And you can see our snow depth is now down to 1 inch of snow. But again, I think here over the next couple of weeks, we may be able to add to that snowpack. If we look at the normals, our normal high is 30, the normal low is 16. You can see in 1894, we got down to a pretty chilly 12 below zero. And if we look at the next shot across the area yesterday, you can see temperatures were mainly in the low 30s across much of the northern areas. But if you get into the east and southeast lower Michigan, as that cold air was coming in, these high temperatures occurred just after midnight, around 40 degrees as temperatures held steady or slowly fell through the day. And you can see we're still running below normal for the month of December, along with much above normal snowfall. As far as the highs and lows across the lower 48 yesterday, the warmest temperature 89 degrees at McAllen, Texas, and the cold temperature 21 below zero at Gunnison, Colorado. If we take a look at the conditions around the area this morning, you can see temperatures mainly in the upper 20s to low 30s across the area. And again, if we look at the surface weather map this morning, you can see high pressure system will be moving off to the east. It's fairly weak systems that we're dealing with, both high and lows. As we're in a zone of flow, we'll see this next system move across the northern Great Lakes. Again, a little bit of push of moisture above that warm front may cause some snow, light snow across the southeast part of lower Michigan into the northern Ohio Valley. But again, this will not be a very significant system. If we look at the low-level wind fields, you can see where that high-pressure system is as the wind's clockwise around it. And we got a system that's drawing some of the low-level winds. And again, that's across southern Canada, as many of these systems will continue to move west to east across southern parts of Canada. And again, these are pretty weak systems. Our next significant storm, again, is going to be probably the early or middle part of next week, again, depending on kind of the models right now. Not really sure what's going to happen. I think as we get into Friday and Saturday, we should have a much better idea. On the radar across the Midwest, you can see that weak system moving across the northern lakes. And again, we'll see some snow develop across the Ohio Valley in the southeast lower Michigan later on today. But again, a very light pattern overall. If we look at the weather map this morning, you can see our next weather system that's going to be moving across the northern U.S., southern Canada, and again, just bringing some light precipitation to the area. This low pressure system will have some of that moisture trying to feed up into the Great Lakes. And as we look at the weather map for Thursday morning, that low pressure system will move across the southern Ohio Valley, again, possibly bringing some light snows across the northern Ohio Valley into southeast lower Michigan. And finally, by Friday, we're looking at our next system. This is a little bit more significant, but still not a big deal, spreading some light snows across the upper Midwest and Great Lakes. And then we'll watch the next system that'll be off the Pacific. That'll be coming in late this weekend, early next week, and it's behind that system we're going to turn much colder. Again, probably Tuesday, but maybe holding off till Wednesday. As far as the precipitation over the next 7 days, you can see the WPC indicates the heaviest precipitation across the Tennessee Valley down to the Gulf and up the East Coast. And again, they're predicting potentially a snowstorm for portions of Tennessee into Kentucky, into the Virginias. where some of the other models show that a little farther north. If we look at the forecast map for next Tuesday, you can see very cold air going to be coming in behind the secondary front, probably late Tuesday into Wednesday as it looks right now. And you can see the big question is, again, how we transition that cold air. Do we have a couple of separated systems? Do we have a strong system that comes up into the Ohio Valley that could bring some significant snow to Michigan? Again, much will have to be figured out here over the next couple of days, so it's kind of a wait and see how we get to that cold air. Now the GFS, 2 models in a row now, shows a very significant snowstorm for much of the area, and but it's kind of on its own as the European and the Canadian show kind of a strong system that moves and brings quite a bit of snow to the upper Great Lakes. And then for about the middle part of next week, it would show a secondary low coming up and giving a pretty good amount of snow across areas of Kentucky into southeast Ohio, into the Virginias possibly, maybe even farther south. But again, we're going to have to just wait and see on that. The GFS has actually been quite well as far as picking out some of these storms so far this winter. So we certainly going to keep an eye on all the models to see if they trend to one way or the other. And as far as the extended outlook, you can see the 6 to 10 day outlook showing us our transition into the cold as we begin to see that big trough begin to hit the western part of the U.S. and then spread its cold air to the east. And by the 8 to 14 day outlook, much of the U.S. is going to be colder than normal. And if we look at precipitation, this is the transition, how we get there. Shows a lot of precipitation across much of the central and northern U.S., actually for much of the U.S., as we become quite stormy. And then the 8 to 14 day outlook also looks pretty wet across much of the northern portions of the U.S. So again, I think we're going to have a chance to pick up quite a bit of snow here over the next couple of weeks. It's just whether or not this next system here early next week does it, or do we wait for more systems beyond that. But if we look at Weather Watch this morning, nothing across much of the Great Lakes, as we're on a pretty calm pattern, and we do expect that to continue probably right through the weekend with just only minor systems right now. And I think this will get quite a bit busier as we get towards the middle of earlier middle portions of next week. Thanks for stopping by and have yourself a great day, and 73s to all.